what we eat is so fundamental to our biochemistry and how we view the world. And it's so powerful, in so many of our lives, that what we eat reminds us of who we are and what we associate with. And so by changing those, we start to build new ways of being in our brain from a new limbic association, like that very animal part of the brain that relates to food. When you start to change your diet, it's like starting over and building again with these new emotions.
So would a vegetarian who's been eating really quite well and been a vegetarian for years but has a lot of emotional stuff they've not dealt with and that control their lives, does that vegetarian become a meat eater to shift away from what they've known? I mean, is it
there's a lot of
the shifting away?
That's really black and white. No, there's many different kinds of meals that you can make, that taste different. So if they ate primarily Asian food, then they could maybe shift into eating Indian food for a while, because those spices and tastes are novel. They're new and they're using different ingredients. So those are going to evoke a different part of the limbic brain and allow them to eat the same vegetables, but in a different way, with different emotions associated.
Would you like me to put this shade down?
No, it's okay. I'm kind of in a side spot here.
Because I mean, it's almost too bright right now. So I can't imagine looking at that window.
It's all right. So changing the diet to get long, and that's over a period of time. You start to associate new stuff with different foods, and over time you get to the point where you can be present to your thoughts. Instead of your thoughts just happening and you just happening, you become aware that you are happening.
Okay, so if somebody hits up against an emotion, they start to feel an emotion come up. So as soon as possible, they put that emotion down.
Tongue comes off the roof of the mouth. They relax the root muscles. They connect with the ground, like feet, whatever, like sex organs, whatever's really grounding. They connect with that part of their body, and they just allow. And they don't follow it, they just kind of bring themselves back into their body and just really focus on that connection, on being
But how is it, but you talk about them being in their body, but what I've heard you talk about is getting out of your body and not connecting with your body so that emotions
No, that's a miscommunication. No, the miscommunication was you need to fully inhabit your body. And so what I took that to mean was eating a whole lot of food, building up a whole lot of blood, doing a lot of working out and being very filled out. And I feel like if that were the case, if I had a lot of blood and a lot of stuff just pumping through my body, then I wouldn't have the ability that I have now to stop that system from happening. It's like when the whole thing is full and the heart beats, it's like it pumps blood to the brain with every beat. And so when a thought arises and it's fully filled with blood from head to toe, like your hormone system is going full blast, then when that heart beats, it perpetuates the emotion. Heartbeats perpetuate the emotion. You can't necessarily get into the objective experience of it and just witness it as it's arising and let go of it, because that's not helping you. You're just continuing to grow in this way that's hurting you. And so I feel like you have to be in your body. You have to be in your heart and in your body enough to feel that I'm thinking about that, and that goes like this, and it feels just like imbalanced, And I'm like, that's just not right there. So it's like, you just like ground and let it go. And then slowly, by not giving it energy, it will go away. Like those parts will trim back because your body conserves energy. It uses energy for only what you need it for. Mother Nature's the same way. I used to come up with mind that like, oh, I need to go into this thought and balance this thought. Well, then I just realized that I was making stronger emotional associations with that emotion that was painful.
Is there an aspect of this that is, because I mean, I'm hearing some of the things that you're saying now as being a little bit different from what I've heard in the past, but this is the way that I heard it, I guess. Maybe you're also evolving the way that you're things. Okay, so when we started the conversation earlier, you said something about the center of the earth and about emotions and so where the emotions are and that they're really just this one dark mass and it goes back to the earth.
Orient ourselves in the universe, it's like, so we're on this sphere, and at the center of this sphere is a black hole, like a ball of potential energy that can be created into anything. And we can see the outward manifestation of that creation as the surface of our sphere. And each culture is oriented like upwards and downwards towards that sphere. So what's happening is we have a sphere, and these cultures are creating these expansions out. So the US and China, they're creating these expansions out. Now, if they continue to expand out, like, I mean, the US has a lot of like obstinacy, anger, closed-mindedness, like inability to see anything beyond linear. And if they keep going in that direction, they're just going to continue creating that universe. And if you create a hierarchy, then you get, the haves, the 1%, and the 99%, and it just continues to get bigger. So they're upset about overpopulation and like all these people who just don't get it. Well, the more they go in that direction, the bigger they're going to see that. The more and more they're going to see that. Because those people are just going to keep breeding. That's their strategy for survival. Whereas
I want to stay with
economic.
Just the individual and how emotions work.
Okay, so on the individual basis, it's like when an individual experiences an emotion and say it's painful and it causes the shoulders to get all crunched up, but they just go in it, they're just in it. They're like mad at this person, and they just, every time they see that person, they get mad again. And they think about it, they get mad again and mad again. And they can't turn it off. It's just like this always mad. And people with like a more Kapha, fire constitution, shorter, stockier, they tend to have like very rajas, very fiery diets, a lot of hormones, meat, salty foods, things like that. And so every time that heart beats, it's like anger, mad at that person, anger, mad at that person. And they are not aware that that thought is occurring and they have a choice.